The film opens with the wedding of Ava and Mitch, a moment that seems filled with happiness and deep love, but this joy is abruptly shattered when a recording of a call from Ava is played during the ceremony. Her treacherous, trembling voice echoes as she is in a state of panic and despair, begging for a response from someone who seems distant. In the recording, Ava reveals that massive bomb explosions have devastated America, near the coast of Tasmania, reporting that approximately 500,000 people lost their lives in that tragic event. After this unprecedented catastrophe, Ava decides to board a flight to Tasmania in a desperate search for her husband. The other passengers share the same fragile hope, all clinging to the idea that their loved ones may still be alive, despite the unspeakable horror that has already occurred. The news clarifies that an extremely powerful shockwave impacted people's nervous systems, resulting in an avalanche of deaths. Upon reaching the island, Ava volunteers for body recovery operations. At a counter, an officer tells her that she still cannot proceed south because the area remains engulfed in flames and destruction. As a doctor, Ava insists that she could be needed there, and upon hearing this, the officer reveals that a body recovery operation is already underway, leading her to officially volunteer. A captain later confirms that rumors that the dead are coming back to life are true, and that the Army will handle such cases if they are encountered. He also warns her that these resurrected victims move slowly and in a disorganized manner. As Ava listens, memories of her life with Mitch flood her mind, recalling moments of happiness and the love they shared. During the bus ride, a nervous man asks a soldier if the dead are really alive. However, the soldier dismisses the doubt, offering an empty assurance that everything will be fine and that help is on the way. As the bus passes burning houses and a city in ruins, the long journey finally comes to an end. The group arrives at their destination, and all the volunteers begin searching for bodies so they can be buried with dignity. Ava, along with some other committed volunteers, enters the abandoned Smith family home. She observes old family photographs and finds herself searching the shadows for reanimated corpses. When she dares to look out the window, a chill runs down her spine. Several bodies are scattered across the yard, in an advanced state of decomposition. After realizing the gravity of the situation, she helps another woman recover the bodies. But the woman quickly becomes overwhelmed by the horror of the scene and eventually withdraws, making up an excuse to quit. Photographs of the dead are collected for processing, while other volunteers work tirelessly around Ava, creating an environment heavy with sadness and despair. During this time, Ava meets another volunteer named Clay, who is equally focused on the task. Soon, Ava and Clay are seen joining forces, collecting bodies from different houses, trying to cope with the brutal reality around them. Ava wears a protective mask while Clay works without one, revealing the difference in their approaches to the situation. Ava witnesses the pain of people consumed by grief, those who lost their loved ones during this catastrophe beyond comprehension. After days of this horrific and exhausting work, they struggle to move the heavy body of a large-framed woman. When Ava notices the woman's wedding photograph, it triggers a whirlwind of memories of her own wedding to Mitch. Despite everything, the volunteers function as a team, sharing meals and moments together, trying to find some sense of normalcy amid the chaos. As the search continues, Ava notices a baby crib, which painfully reminds her of her inability to conceive a child. Going deeper into the garage of a house, she sees bloody footprints leading inside, then spots a woman hiding there, half transformed into a zombie. Ava calls Clay, who fires a flare to alert the soldiers. Locking eyes with the woman, a mix of compassion and horror overwhelms her, and moments later, the soldiers arrive and kill her. Afterwards, priests are seen offering prayers for the dead before the bodies are dumped into a deep pit for burial. Ava and Clay watch the scene, helpless and consumed by grief. Even at night, the Army continues its search operations using aircraft, a sign of the magnitude of the tragedy. Despite all this, Ava remains determined to reach the Woodbridge Enso Resort, where Mitch had been staying. She consults a map and realizes the resort is nearly 200 miles away. But no matter how long the journey may take, she remains resolute in finding her beloved husband. Later that night, Ava hears noises coming from downstairs, and when she reaches the staircase, she sees people running in panic, She runs toward the kitchen trying to escape, but outside a military officer spots her, calls out to her, and orders her to return to her room and rest. After that, the scene shifts to a party. While others drink, celebrate, and try to forget the horror around them, Ava sits beside Clay. He offers her a drink and starts a conversation by asking why she came to Hobart. Ava says that her husband was working in a town called Woodbridge. She also mentions the woman they found in the garage, insisting that she was not completely like a zombie. There was still a trace of humanity in her. Clay, however, firmly believes that everyone is already dead. Later, as Ava goes back inside the house, she suddenly finds herself face to face with Mitch, now fully transformed into a zombie, who violently attacks her. Ava wakes up in a startle, realizing it was only a distressing nightmare. She looks out the window and discovers that it is already the next morning. An hour later, Ava and Clay enter a huge abandoned garage. Clay becomes excited when he sees motorcycles, but Ava discovers several people who died while partying there. She learns that Clay used to ride motorcycles and suggests they could reach Woodbridge using the bikes, giving him the chance to ride again. Ava shows Clay the route to Woodbridge on a map. At that moment, a girl suddenly regains consciousness, already transformed into a zombie. Clay agrees to the plan and goes to look for fuel while Ava checks the wardrobe of a dead woman. Inside, she encounters a female zombie making disturbing noises through clenched teeth. Clay realizes that Ava is dangerously close to the undead and urgently warns her to move away. When Clay returns, they manage to slip past the army, take the motorcycles, and escape. Riding on highways filled with destroyed vehicles, Clay accelerates at full speed, driven by adrenaline, but suddenly brakes hard when he notices the presence of military vehicles ahead. They hide behind a car as Ava sees an undead creature approaching her. Just as the creature is about to strike her, the army shoots it down. When Ava looks at the fallen zombie, she briefly sees Mitch in it, but makes it clear that in reality it is another person, not Mitch. As they approach the site of the bomb explosion, everything around them is covered in ash and debris. The land has been reduced to lifeless ruins. The two stop to refuel their bikes at a deserted spot when they notice an undead creature moving toward them. They immediately jump on the motorcycle and speed through thick clouds of smoke. Behind them, an undead crawls along the ground, but Ava and Clay manage to escape and eventually reach the city of Hobart, now severely destroyed and still burning. They stop again to refuel and enter a nearby store where bodies are scattered everywhere. Both wash their faces with water, trying to cleanse themselves of the dirt and horror they have witnessed. Clay is completely exhausted, his body stiff with pain, and Ava, being a physiotherapist, helps relieve his sore muscles. Suddenly, a massive and terrifying undead creature charges toward them at full speed. Clay tries to fight it, but as the undead comes extremely close, it seems certain that both of them will die at that moment. At the last instant, a soldier named Riley appears and shoots the creature, saving their lives in a heroic act. When the undead still refuses to stay down, Riley finishes it off with a quick and decisive stab. Riley then asks why they are there. Ava explains her body recovery mission and reveals that she came searching for her husband. The soldier locks Ava in a room and takes Clay for interrogation. Alone, Ava breaks down in tears, remembering how her relationship with Mitch had slowly fallen apart over time. She eventually falls asleep, only to be awakened by insistent footsteps. When Ava runs to look, Riley returns alone and tells her that Clay escaped, leaving her alone, which fills her with despair. Riley promises to help Ava reach Woodbridge, and she reluctantly agrees, knowing it is her only chance. The soldier takes Ava with him. However, during the trip, Riley mentions that he needs to stop by his house to pick up some belongings, which makes Ava uneasy and anxious. They soon arrive at the Bluebird area. Upon reaching his house, Riley invites Ava inside for dinner, an offer that further increases her suspicion. During dinner, Ava notices family photographs of Riley displayed on the table, heightening her apprehension about his intentions. Riley reveals that his wife Katie was 8 months pregnant, with only 2 weeks left before giving birth, when the catastrophe occurred. The soldier says he returned home by helicopter only to find his wife already dead. He himself buried her in a grave, solidifying his emotional wounds. When Ava asks when they will leave for Woodbridge, Riley replies that they will, but only if she agrees to a specific condition. Later, Ava wears Riley's wife's clothes but refuses to put on her engagement ring, a symbol of union she refuses to accept. Riley enters the room and states his condition. He wants her to dance with him. As they dance, Ava is flooded with memories of a romantic dance she once shared with Mitch, causing her to drift into nostalgia. And for a moment, it seems as though she is dancing with her husband instead of Riley, something that emotionally sustains her. Suddenly, Riley notices that Ava is not wearing the ring and insists that she put it on and dance again. Ava refuses, saying she has done enough and does not feel comfortable. When Riley tries to force her, Ava strikes his head and escapes into a room in panic, locking and barricading the door behind her. Inside, she discovers Riley's wife's body lying on the bed, and the reality of her situation becomes even more terrifying. Outside, Riley insists that his wife is undead and will wake up soon, begging Ava to open the door. Ava manages to escape through the window and sees a set of keys on a table in the living room. Riley spots her from the staircase and furiously chases her. Ava hides in the garage, but Riley follows her with a flashlight. As the light spreads, Ava is horrified to see several female zombies chained inside the garage. Charts and measurements hang nearby, listing names, ages, and details, revealing the terrible truth about Riley's twisted experiments. It becomes obvious that Riley has been keeping these undead women captive, and Ava is likely his next victim. Shocked but composed, Ava removes her ring and approaches Riley, pretending that she wants to reconcile and act as his wife. She claims she lost the ring and offers to retrieve it, trying to buy time. As Riley approaches, Ava focuses on the keys hanging at his side. Suddenly, she pulls out a hidden weapon and stabs him to death, culminating in a desperate act of survival. Grabbing the keys, Ava starts the car only to see Riley's pregnant wife, Katie, standing in front, a ghost from his past. Ava ignores her and accelerates the car, and the tension rises with each second. As she escapes, Ava recalls a painful memory from before the disaster, a moment when she and Mitch were arguing as he prepared to leave for Tasmania. Ava wanted to drop him off at the airport, but Mitch refused, assuring her that he would return in a week. Words that now echo with a devastating uncertainty, as the future seems bleak. Back in the present, Ava wakes inside her car at dawn, the morning light filtering through the windows. She gets out, grips her weapon, and continues her journey on foot toward Woodbridge, determined not to give up. A zombie suddenly runs toward her, and startled, she trips over a corpse, causing her axe to fall. She hides inside a car, but the undead follows her inside, initiating a fierce struggle. Using an object she finds at hand, Ava manages to kill the creature, but the emotional cost is high. As she moves forward, Ava comes across a camping van containing the bodies of an entire family, the loneliness and desolation of the moment piercing her heart. That night, the father reanimates, and when Ava investigates the sound, she sees him calmly digging a grave. He seems peaceful, almost human, and Ava helps him bury his family, an act of compassion amid tragedy. In him she sees reflections of Mitch, which strengthens her determination to continue searching for her husband. After the burial, the man asks Ava to end his life. In a moment of silent compassion, she does so with her axe, burying him beside his family and placing their photograph on the grave, a gesture of respect and sorrow. Eventually, Ava reaches the Enso Resort, where people died instantly, frozen in their final moments of life. She notices an employee of the month who has turned into a zombie, but consciously chooses to ignore her and goes straight to Mitch's room. There, she finds Mitch dead beside the bed, his skin burned and blackened by the destruction. Ava finds a young woman's badge and realizes that Mitch's wedding ring was removed and left in the bathroom, clear signs of betrayal. Devastated, Ava praises her rival after seeing her photo, saying that she was beautiful. With tears in her eyes, Ava begs Mitch to wake up and answer her questions, but Mitch has already met his end, after betraying Ava, taking his secrets and his own life with him into the beyond. At that moment of pain, Clay appears and joins her. The two sit together by the sea, where Ava opens up about her arguments with Mitch, his extramarital affair, and how she confessed everything to him before he left for Tasmania, hoping to save their threatened marriage. Clay also shares his own suffering, explaining how his wife and daughter no longer wanted to stay with him, a pain that resonates between them. After this exchange of confidences, they spend the night together at the resort, swimming, drinking, and smoking, trying to temporarily escape the oppressive reality. In the end, Ava decides to say goodbye to Mitch with dignity. With a heavy heart, she removes her wedding ring, and together, she and Clay try to push Mitch's body into the sea. Clay, in a state of anguish, becomes nauseous and vomits onto the corpse, a sign of the emotional weight they both carry. They place Mitch's body in a boat and let it float into the vast ocean, surrendering it to fate. On the way back from Bluebird, Ava and Clay spot Katie standing in the middle of the road, a sight that provokes a mix of hope and fear. Ava steps out of the vehicle. Katie is no longer pregnant, and her clothes are stained with blood. Ava watches her closely, sensing the tense silence as she feels Katie pointing towards something. As Katie walks away, Ava runs in the indicated direction and finds a newborn lying among the rocks in the bushes. With tears in her eyes, Ava takes the baby into her arms, and with this fragile spark of life, the film comes to an end, symbolizing hope amid tragedy.